Good old Trump and Musk press conference. After good old Musk, our boy, our favorite specialist, most special of boys, decided to have his breakup with Trump. Oh no. The trouble in paradise. Single tear. Very, very upsetting and sad. So, what? We got, I guess like not too long ago, Trump just left the office. He's no longer the sort of special government employee. I think that was the distinction he was given. And also, what? We have Musk also criticizing the big, beautiful bill, the most biggest, most beautiful bill on the fucking planet. Very cool. We love that. And also, well, crazy. I'm doing a press conference with him because, I guess Elon's not actually leaving or something. Nah, whatever. Let's have a listen. Or we might not do it 2 times speed. We'll do 1.5 times speed.
Fantastic job.
Fantastic, excellent job.
And we find out government's a little nasty on occasion. Hello, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, President Trump.
Government's a little bit nasty, Peter. You haven't noticed that. You've had a charmed life, right?
You tell me.
Very charmed. I think you've had a charmed life. I think what I'll do, if you don't mind, numbers have just come out which are rather extraordinary, and I thought I'd play a tape of one of the people who I've respected over the years, from Joe Kiernan and Rick Santelli. This just came out, and we'll just play that for a second.
Personal income is up 0.8%. That is almost triple the expectations.
What the fuck is this? Is this like an NBC like business interview that he's gotten like a laptop of like them spawning positively? Okay, I find this really, really strange, to be honest, because like, what? I don't know why Trump is even bringing this up to begin with. Like, oh look, they're going back up after all of his like stupid belligerent trade policies, saying like, yeah dude, whoa crazy. Like, look at this going back up after all of my stupid, complete nonsense. Like, what? Oh, look! Whoa, heckin' awesome! It's going back up from the fact that it was overall down when he came into office. It peaked right around December when he officially won the presidency. Here's Liberation Day, where the stocks completely started shitting the bed. We can look at the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all of them. And, whoa, after Trump decided to not do all of his belligerent trade policies and he backed off of them, they started going back up. Crazy. But hey, guess what, okay? This is really simple for you conservatives, okay? Really, really easy. Markets are very well known for loving instability, okay? Very, very, very well known for liking instability. I think it was the U.S.'s I think it's always been the credit assessment agency used by the United States called Moody's, just said that the credit rating for the U.S. is currently not very reliable. So be prepared for more stupid belligerent policy like this, in order to try to bring countries to the table for some reason, for whatever nonsense, it not working, and then the constant ratchet effect, the stocks going up and down, up and down, up and down constantly, because again, you know what markets really like, guys? They're a big fan of instability. They love instability. But yeah, it's going up, but it's still down overall. Yep, exactly.
The income numbers, really, for the first 4 months of the year, they're stellar. They're really stellar. I mean, I could go back
and again, the only reason why all these dumbass outlets have to do this stupid sane washing constantly is simply due to the fact that they're private corporations. They piss off Trump too much, they're going to lose press access. Personally, I think that might be a bad thing and might not lead to very good overall outcomes when it comes to the American people being able to make assessments of the news of what's going on currently in politics. I'm just throwing that out there.
And look at the first 4 months of many different years. Really very strong numbers, and you're right. This administration is criticized for just about everything under the sun. I've never, ever in my lifetime had glimpses into the politics of an administration in the form of transparency like this one. Why don't we give credit where credit is due? Income really shooting up.
Rick, I also thought everybody was going to get one last...
I don't know. This is just This is some fucking corporate capture fucking bullshit, dude. Like, if you're wondering why, a reason for us to why a lot of the American people, broadly speaking, have like, I don't know, not lack of understanding. I guess they're just not as like actively engaged with politics as they could be. It's because of shit like this. Like, what the hell kind of like coverage is this? Like, dude, everything is still overall down and prices are going up. Like, it's just silly, dude. Because, you know, we have to coddle to the Mad King, otherwise he may get upset with us, guys.
Order of imports that were going to be tariffed, and they were loading up on things. How the hell they already fix the trade, or not fix it, but to cut it in half? That's crazy. So there wasn't a lot of front loading of things that they needed before the tariffs hit?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it really does call them.
Don't fucking be smug, Trump. No, don't you? I saw that little smirk. Dude, you're the one who caused all this nonsense. You're the ones causing all the problems and the instability. Like, what the fuck is this, buddy? Like, look at me fixing a problem that I completely made for no reason, because I just wanted to cause problems, because I wanted to make myself look like a super heckin' wholesome epic deal maker, guys. I'm doing such a great job making all these deals because I decided to do complete random idiotic bullshit to begin with. Yeah, it's Mad King shit, dude. Mad King shit.
Question some of the conventional wisdoms, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next month when we get this number, or we see some of the other numbers like current accounts, see how they fare, because I don't know, I've been watching these numbers a long time. I don't think I've ever seen the trade deficit cut half in 1 month.
Not bad. Right? Not bad.
Come on, guys.
Wait, trade deficit with who, though? Trade deficit cut in half in a month like that? Like, what does that even mean, by the way? Like, with which country? With China? Like, because of the tariffs going down? I'm very confused. Whatever. There's like no context
see Howard and
there.
Scott are here,
It's
so
silly.
it's great. You guys want to stand over here? You might as well. You're the ones that help produce those numbers, and it'll only get better. The tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with the decision yesterday, where
love the tariffs.
Tariffs continue, because without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled. We would really be imperiled. I think I can say that with great
love
surety.
the
Scott and
glaze,
Howard.
don't we,
And
folks?
so we were very happy to get that big decision yesterday. And today it's about a man named Elon, and he's one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. He stepped forward.
Elon
to
is
put
my
his
favorite
very
guy.
great talents
I love
into
him.
the service of our nation, and we appreciate it. And I just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations. And you know the kinds of things that he's found and his people have found. He's brought a group of very smart people in, and they found things.
Yeah, people like fucking big balls and stuff like that. Like, keep in mind, you want to know, like, what these motherfuckers are found? Basically, like, what they said, it was like, we're gonna cut $2 trillion, and then it went down to $1 trillion, and then like 500 billion, and then it just kept going down and down and down, and they like basically found nothing with Doge. Doge has been like a complete, just abject failure, like, wholeheartedly speaking. It's silly.
That are pretty unbelievable. I have to say that the numbers that we're talking about are substantial, but they're going to be very much more substantial with time, because many of the
Big
things
numbers,
that we're
folks,
working on
let me
right
tell
now,
you.
we're going to have to remember Elon as we find them, but his
Love
numbers could
Elon.
double and triple, because many things we don't want to go out with them until we're sure, but we've found things that are unbelievably stupid and unbelievably bad. With the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon's delivered a colossal change in the old ways of doing business in Washington. Doge has installed geniuses with an engineering mindset and unbelievably talented people in computers. I actually asked Elon one time, what's their primary thing? And they have a lot of
Yeah, a bunch of like stupid Elon Discord groiper kittens that I don't know, he likes to have as like little hangers on, these like geniuses in computers. Keep in mind, they like one of the first things that the Discord groiper kittens decided to do when they got into power. Is it correct to say that they got into power? I don't really know. Like let's just go with that. It's like a colloquial sense. When they basically got in, they just decided to just like all willy-nilly just like tear apart a bunch of like really old systems, because they were just like, well, this is like an old system that's been here for like forever, and it's probably inefficient, so we're just gonna like tear it apart without having like much of an understanding for as to why it was there to begin with. I don't remember the name of the language in particular, because I'm really bad with names. But basically, it was the same thing that was used for the Social Security system, and in essence, it basically, like, there was once like a $14, like someone once took out $14 too much. The system detected it, and the problem was like dealt with immediately. So like the question then becomes is like, is the system incredibly inefficient? Is it even like as bad as like Elon is purporting it to say? Who the fuck really knows? It's complete fucking nonsense.
Primary things all having to do with being smart, but he said the thing that they're really the best at is working with computers, so that they can't be outsmarted by somebody that's not so honest, that happens to also be good with computers, but not as good as these people. But the mindset in the senior ranks of every federal department, and it's really changed. And with Elon's guidance, they're helping to detect fraud, slash waste, and modernize broken and outdated systems. So as you know, we're talking about various systems and changing systems, and sadly, it takes a long time to do that. You'll change, let's say, a system at IRS and computerize it properly, where the job can be done in 1/10 the time, but it takes sometimes years to rebuild those systems. But we've started.
Okay, like he's speaking out of multiple sides of his mouth here. Sometimes it takes years in order to rebuild the saw, but he's doing such a great, quick fucking job about it, and they're like making it way more fucking efficient. When there's just like no evidence of it being like made more efficient. If anything, like technically speaking, everything is being made more inefficient because of just the complete randomness and just like not slapstick. That's not the correct term. Ramshackle nature of like all the changes that Elon and the Discord Groiper kittens are doing. It's complete fucking nonsense. If one thing is true, it has been certainly fast and loose, much to the detriment of a lot of social safety nets that Americans like to rely upon. It's just been silly.
Started in many cases. I will say that this has less to do with Elon, but the air traffic control systems, we're bidding out to the best companies in the world. Those systems right now, they were horrible.
Yeah, the FAA, which Elon decided to fuck with constantly because they have a bunch of lawsuits against him and caused how many fucking plane crashes, right? Like it became a fucking meme in the Trump administration because of all of the not even firings. Just like the defunding and going after of the FAA, because Elon has currently has a fucking lawsuit with them because he keeps like putting up space junk, and he wants to keep putting up space junk in space, completely unfucking regulated. Like, how many plane crashes have there been under the Trump administration? Let's see, how many plane crashes in 2025? Ooh, 250 aviation incidents and accidents. Whoops. Damn, that's crazy. All since the start of 2025. There have been 50 deadly aviation crashes in the United States in 2025. Before 2025, the most recent deadly plane crash involving a U.S. airliner was in 2009. At least 166 people have died in the 2025 aviation crashes. And guess what? There's still more of them. I've even talked about this before, but because of like a lot of the, idiotic nature for as to what Elon is engaging with, has, a lot of the idiotic shit that Elon has been constantly engaging with, the sort of like, I'm trying to say like, not the efficiency, because that's not correct to say. The sort of like all of the like defunding and like mucking about that Elon was doing with the FAA, because he currently has a lawsuit with them because of like all the space junk that he wants to keep putting up in space. And guess what? He's doing that against regulations. There have been like less and less like air traffic controllers. They have to do like double duties, way more fucking shifts and stuff like that. There's like a lack of air traffic controllers that now exist in like American airports and stuff like that, making flying way more dangerous as a result. Like what? Elon Musk FAA lawsuit. FAA had recently ordered SpaceX to carry out a formal investigation into the loss of a Starship vehicle during its test flight, and previously ordered over $630,000 in civil penalties against SpaceX. The DOT Inspector General was fired by Trump. The FAA administrator resigned effectively in January. Whoa, this is fucking why. He wants to just keep launching spaceships up into fucking space with no fucking regulatory oversight, and he just wants to put people's lives in danger because I love launching my spaceships, guys. Stupid.
The previous administration was horrible what they did. They spent billions and billions of dollars, and in the end, it didn't even come close to working. They tried to hook up wire to copper, and it can't be done. And they just spent billions of dollars and just wasted money. Actually made the system.
What? Trump, do you know what, like, grafting is? Of copper wire? That happens all the fucking time, dude. Like, you take the cable... You take off the insulation of the cable. You make sure the power's off first, obviously, so you don't get electrocuted. You tie the fucking cable together, and then you put, like, electrical tape or new insulation on there. And that's how you graft together copper wire? Most wire is made out of copper? Okay, whatever.
Much worse. So we're going to get a brand new modern system. Congress is working with us on that, and we're going to get it done as quickly as we can. But it's in the works, and once it's done, it'll be good for 30 years. But we have a system that's 48 years old and would have a modern computer hooked into a very outdated computer, and they don't hook up. I mean, they didn't hook up. So after spending billions of dollars, they turned on the system.
He has no idea what he's talking about. I mean, this is the same dude, again, who literally, like, went into a Tesla and just be like, oh, look, it's our computer. Look, it's our computer. And, you know, old man.
And in never any cases, from local to countrywide, they never worked. More than 75,000 bureaucrats have voluntarily left their taxpayer-funded jobs to come out and really do the job. Countless wasteful and unnecessary.
They all left the job because of Elon and DOGE fucking with their jobs, you fucking moron. What are you talking about? That's why they left their fucking posts. Elon was trying to destroy the regulatory board that had a lawsuit against him because he kept throwing in space junk like everywhere. What are you saying? No, but okay. No, actually, it's all the fault of the regulatory sort of demons that exist within the FAA. It's all their fault or something. It's stupid.
Contracts have been terminated, and you know that we have terminated many contracts, and many contracts, Elon, are right now being looked at, and it may be 6 months, it may be almost a year in some cases. We're going through procedures, we're going through courts, and we'll remember you as we announce.
Yeah, because what you're doing is illegal. That's why you're going through courts. Crazy.
Billions of dollars of extra waste, fraud, and abuse. Just as an example, DOGE canceled.
Of which they have basically found, like, nothing. They've, like the claims that like, how much waste, fraud, and abuse? It was initially $2 trillion, then it went down to $500 billion, then it's $150 billion, and in reality, I think, like, DOGE is probably costing the government more because of the fact that, hey, whoa, crazy, because of, like, all of the belligerent nonsense they keep doing, and, you know, hiring and firing and rehiring of, you know, federal workers that they had to do. Crazy. Who would have thought that as a result there'd be a big loss in productivity? Ooh, like, how much money has Doge saved? Do we even know? Doge says it saved it says it has saved 160 billion. Those cuts have cost taxpayers 135 billion. That's not 160 billion. That sounds like it's actually 25 billion. And who even knows if that's even true? So that's cool. It says it saved 160 billion through its push to root out wasteful or fraudulent government spending, but that effort may have also come at a cost for taxpayers, with a new estimate from a nonpartisan research and advocacy group estimating that DOGE's actions will cost $135 billion this fiscal year. Yeah. Partnership for Public Service, a nonpartisan nonprofit that focuses on the federal workforce. PSP's estimate that on the $270 billion in annual compensation costs for the federal workforce, calculating the impact of DOGE's actions from paid leave to productivity hits, the $135 billion cost to taxpayers doesn't include the expense of defending multiple lawsuits challenging DOGE's actions, nor the impact of estimated lost tax collections due to staff cuts at the IRS. Whoopsie. Well, I thought Doge was saving a bunch of money. Oh, they may actually be costing more. Whoops. Yeah. Some government agency that tasked with saving the American taxpayer money. Nonsense.
$101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, $101 million, and that was just a small section of the Department of Education. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City, and the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City, $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. Does anyone know about Burma? $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. I can say it's $2 billion to Stacey Abrams and her environmental movement. There was $100 in the account, and all of a sudden they found $2 billion in the account. And I assume that's being looked at. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I assume that's being looked at. Think of that.
So this is like the same shit that this dumbass fucking went through with his like initial address to Congress, right? Where he just like, I don't know, lied more or less about everything that's being said here. It is just complete idle conjecture and nonsense. But sure, fuck it, whatever. YOLO swag.
$2 billion, and then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental cause. $20 billion, not 20 million, a lot, not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about. Nobody's been able to find it. $8 million for making mice transgender. So they spent $8 million on...
No, it was transgenic mice. Transgender is, that's a different term. Those are not the same term, right? It's, the transgenic. It's, that's the term. Relating to or denoting an organism that contains, genetic material into which DNA from an unrelated organism has been artificially introduced, right? This is about like those woolly mice, right? And there was like an article saying like, this might bring back the return of the woolly mammoth or something. And it's just like, no, it's actually transgender mice. It's not. It's just a mouse that has had like different DNA from an animal introduced into its genome. Like that's it. That's what it is.
Making mice transgender, and those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that, but we have other things to do. So it's much, much more than just that. We're totally committed to making the DOGE cuts permanent and stopping much more of the waste in the months to come. We want to get our great, big, beautiful bill finished and done. After that, we're going to be, we put some of this into the bill.
We love the great, big,
most of it's going to come later. We're going to have
it
notarized by Congress, affirmed by Congress. In some cases, we'll make cuts. In some cases, we'll just use it in a different layer to save the money. But it's hundreds of billions of dollars. DOGE is also fully modernized.
By cutting the social safety net, cutting $880 billion from Medicaid and Medicare. So also making cuts to SNAP. It's not Medicaid that's getting cut. It's Medicare that's getting cut. So that's cool. That's fantastic. And by the way, the big beautiful bill still has to go through the Senate, which is where it's definitely going to be seeing revisions, or at least by what the senators are saying. They're not going along with it. It's more than likely going to get revised, and then it has to go back to the House to go through the revisions and stuff like that. And then if it gets passed, it gets passed, or it can also just get stopped all of a sudden. Like, that still has to play out. It's not. Listen, Trump is making it sound like it's very simple. It's gonna pass. It's gonna be great, brilliant, fantastic, folks. And it's just like, actually, no, it's not actually that simple. Trump, you're being kind of silly.
Federal retirement process and continues to work very hard on the IRS modernization, but we're taking that over with DOGE. Many of the DOGE people, Elon, are staying behind too, so they're not leaving. And Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling. It's his baby, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of things. But Elon's service to America is going to be back, folks. Comparison in modern history. He's already running one of the most innovative car companies in the world. You look at his factories and compare them with some of the old factories we have, and it's a big difference. And the most successful space company, and I guess in history you would have to say the largest free speech platform on the internet, etc. Yet Elon...
the free speech platform that's crawling with a bunch of fucking Nazis. But, it's the most successful. It's so good, folks. We love the Nazis, don't we, folks? We love all the Nazis that are currently on X, don't we?
Willingly, with all of the success, he willingly accepted the outrageous abuse and slander and lies and attacks because he does love our country. I know that very much. He loves our country. He comes from another country, a country that's going through trials and tribulations, I would say. But he's all about the USA, and Americans owe him a great debt of gratitude. So I just want to thank Elon for his time as a special government employee. Can you imagine? They call him an employee, but it's a special government employee, and for coming and helping us. And he really has changed the mindset of a lot of people. A lot of people thought, maybe we'll cut 1% or 2% or 3%. Then they said, wow, we can cut a lot more than that. And we're going to do it very surgically. We're going to continue on the march.
Yeah, very, very surgical cuts Elon has been doing. Yeah, just doing complete belligerent fucking nonsense. Yes, Elon's been very surgical, folks. Let me tell you, he's been very, very precise with everything that he's doing, even though he himself described all the cuts that he's doing as, we're just going to do random shit and, it'll work out, guys, I guess. Yeah, surgical. Mm-hmm.
We're making America great again. When I was in Saudi Arabia, and we were in, as you know, 3 really great countries, predominantly the 3. Qatar was great, UAE was great, Saudi Arabia, incredible. Such an incredible experience to be in those 3 countries. But the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and I must tell you, the great leaders of the other 2 that we just mentioned, they all said the same thing, that the United States is the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. And 6 months ago, we thought it was dead. It was like a dead country. And it would have been a dead country if we didn't have the right result on November 5th. There would have been a horrible, horrible situation was going on with the borders, with transgender for everyone, men playing in women's sports. And
yeah, because that's definitely a thing that is happening with less than 1% of the fucking population. Yeah, dude. All the transgenders, they're getting in and playing their sports, folks. They're just playing sports. Not really doing anything else besides they're only just playing sports. And there's it's barely even 1% of the fucking population of transgender people that are playing sports. But again, we have to have our fucking scapegoat for our dipshit fucking fascists, because again, because the Republican Party is never going to fundamentally address any of the economic woes the American people are facing, because they don't want to. Their primary donors and primary people that they listen to are capital owners, first and foremost, as always. But Trump, you're doing this press conference with a billionaire right beside you, my dude. We all know who you fundamentally listen to, first order principles. So, come on, buddy. Let's be honest here. You're not fooling anyone with this foolishness.
So much more, but they were saying the hottest country anywhere in the world, and then I played that little clip because I was the one person who was respected.
So hot,
but there were 2 people, because Joe was in that one too. Joe's a good man, but that was one group of people saying something about the success of what we've done over the last 4 months. They cannot believe it. In the one case, they said they've never seen anything like it as long as they've been doing what they've been doing. They've been doing it for a long time. So I just I want to thank Elon for helping. And again, the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's no country as hot. And we're doing really well.
We're so hot.
When I left, we had no wars, we had no problems.
We're so sexy because of climate change, obviously, folks. That's why we're so hot. Let me tell you, folks. Also, no wars? What do you mean? What does he mean by, no wars? Buddy, again, this motherfucker loves to constantly brag about, I sent javelins to Ukraine. I sent them javelins, folks. Let me tell you, I sent them the javelins. He loves to do, that brag shit all the fucking time. And then, also it's just what do you mean I had nothing to do with any of these wars? By your logic, Trump, you also directly contributed further to the war in fucking Ukraine. If we just want to engage with his logic for, literally 3 seconds. But, whatever. Consistency, expecting any consistency from the Trump administration in terms of, any issue in particular, it's a farce.
Defeated ISIS, we rebuilt our military, and we had no inflation. And when I came back, we had a lot of inflation. We had wars all over the place. We had the...
Dude, your policies were what caused inflation to go back up. Everyone across the world was suffering from inflation because of corporate price gouging and stuff. You had a fucking part to play in that. But, you can't blame me for anything. Everything I do is so good and epic and awesome. I do nothing wrong. Nothing I do is wrong, obviously.
Embarrassment in Afghanistan, where we gave up billions and billions of dollars of military equipment.
Again, you are part of the reason as to why the Afghanistan pullout was as much of a shit show. And of course, you guys were in there for 20 fucking years. Of course, it was going to be a shit show. That's just how that works. Quite literally. But he doesn't get it. Because again, he's a fucking narcissist who can't accept blame for anything.
Most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, I believe that strongly. We have Russia with Ukraine. We had the attack on Israel in October, the horrible attack.
Yeah, because of the Abrahamic Accords. That's why Hamas did the attack. Like, again, can't accept responsibility for anything, any of his fucking policies, anything that he has done whatsoever. He can't accept responsibility for any of it. It's, you know, it's actually, it's impressive just how unwilling he's like just how willing he's just not willing to take any accountability or anything for any of his actions. He just can't do it. He just refuses.
October 7th, horrible attack. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And now we have something where we're really healing a lot of that. We stopped India and Pakistan from fighting. I believe that could.
That's a lie. You did not. India and Pakistan also say, like, you had nothing to fucking do with any of the negotiations. He's just lying. It's just a lie.
It turned out into a nuclear disaster. And I want to thank the leaders of India, the leaders of Pakistan, and I want to thank my people also. We talked trade. And we said we can't trade with people that are shooting at each other and potentially using nuclear weapons. And they're great leaders in those countries, and they understood and they agreed. And that all stopped, and we're stopping others from fighting also, because ultimately we can fight better than anybody. We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest leaders in the world. We put one of them in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as you know, General Raisin Kane. And we wiped out ISIS, completely wiped out ISIS in 3 weeks. They said it would take 5 years, and we did it in 3 weeks. And that's the way it is, but we don't want to have to use.
Aren't there, like, still some pockets of, like, ISIS resistance, technically speaking? I mean, like, whatever, right? Like, technically speaking, they're still out there, but just nowhere near as, like, prevalent as they used to be. Whatever.
Our military, we want to be peace through strength when we can, and that's the way we're going to have it. So I just want to thank Elon and all of his people. Most of those people are staying, almost all of them are staying, and they're going to be with us. And you're going to see the results coming long into the future. Even a year and 2 years later, you're going to see a lot of the results, and those hundreds of billions of dollars are going to be adding up, and they're going to continue to add. It'll be interesting, really interesting to see what the final number is going to be. But again, Elon gave an incredible service. Nobody like him, and he had to go through the slings and the arrows, which is a shame because he's an incredible patriot. The good news is that 90% of the country knows that, and they appreciate it, and they really appreciate what he did. And again,
Elon Musk approval rating. What's the approval rating? 35% of Americans said they approve his performance for the Trump administration, while 57% said they disapprove, roughly on par with ratings for the president himself. Yeah, I don't think 90% of people. I mean, if you add 35 with 57%, that's 90%. Wait, Trump's approval rating is at 39%? Woof. That is low. Very, very low. Or it's like the approval rating for his first 100 days. Woof. That is low. But yeah, I don't think people are big fans of Elon right now. I mean, it's why you're even like getting rid of him to begin with, right? You want like nothing to do with him because he's like broadly speaking, and everyone fucking agrees with this. Elon Musk he's a political liability, like quite literally.
I gave him a little special something we have here.
Thank you.
A very special that I give to very special people. I have given it to some, but it goes to very special people, and I thought I'd give it to Elon as a presentation from.
Wait, is this the fucking Reddit key? I saw an image of this. Oh my fucking god, it's the fucking Reddit key. Like, literally, dude. It's so fucking funny. Reddit key. Oh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna find it, dude. Look at this fucking thing. It has the fucking Reddit logo on it, dude. It has the fucking Reddit logo on it, dude. Look at this fucking dumbass thing. Dude! God, it's so over. And Reddit's like, I'll be honest. Okay, as much as I like to shit on fucking Reddit and Redditors in particular, let's be honest here. The one social media platform and website that fucking exists that, you know, doesn't have like any more of these like stupid Nazi like 3 IQ dumb fucks on there constantly populating it and has like still some semblance of enforcement mechanisms and TOS is Reddit, dude. Like, it's Reddit. They're the final bastion of social media, like, unironically. It's so fucking funny. It's a cheap key too. Other people have that key without the logo. It's a novelty item. God, that's so fucking funny, dude. The fucking Reddit key, dude. God.
Our country. Thank you, Elon. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Take care, Elon. Keep ruining someone else's country
I
instead.
love it. This is amazing.
A large lot.
Well, let me say perhaps a few words. That this is not the end of DOGE, but really the beginning. My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing, it's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that it comes with a time limit. But the DOGE team will only grow stronger
Thanks,
over time.
Elon. Sure.
The DOGE influence will only grow stronger. It's I could liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government.
Yeah, a way of life that has basically accomplished nothing besides cost taxpayers money. He like literally says it saved $160 billion. Doge's actions have cost $135 billion. Not to mention all the fucking lawsuits that have gone into challenging Doge's actions. Let's be honest here. Maybe they saved let's be charitable and say maybe 20 billion. Maybe, if even that. Hilarious.
And I'm confident that over time we'll see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction. The calculations of the DOGE team thus far, in terms of an FY25 to FY26 delta, are over 160 billion, and that's climbing. We expect that number will probably go over 200 billion soon. So I think the DOGE team is doing an incredible job. They're going to continue doing an incredible job, and I'll be to be visiting here and be a friend and advisor to the president, and I look forward to Times being back in this amazing room. By the way, isn't this incredible? Look at this incredible. I mean, it's stunning.
Dude, what's with these guys doing MTV Cribs bits? What the fuck is this, dude? Look how incredible and beautiful the decor is. Look at this. It's incredible. I'm telling you, I think if Trump is still alive after the fucking goddamn presidency, maybe he should be the new host of MTV Cribs. So here we have this beautiful house in sunny California. Look at it. It's not as beautiful as my house, obviously. My house is obviously more beautiful. I love my golden apartment, but this one's pretty nice as well. Look at these lovely marble columns. We love it, folks. Isn't it fantastic? I'm your host, Donald Trump, and this is MTV Cribs.
I think the way that the Oval Office, the president has just completely redone the Oval Office is beautiful. I love the gold in the ceiling.
Thank you. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's been a long time that was plaster. Nobody ever really saw it. They didn't know the eagle was up there, and we highlighted. Essentially it's a landmark, a great landmark. And that's 24 karat gold. Everybody loved it, and now they all see it when they come in. So it's been good.
The Oval Office finally has the majesty that it deserves, thanks to the president. So I look forward to continuing to be a friend and advisor to the president.
God, that's so fucking stupid, bro.
And we are relentlessly pursuing $8 trillion in waste and fraud reductions, which will benefit the American taxpayer. That's it, really. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
All right.
Great job.
Thank you, Elon, for ruining the country.
The president mentioned that you had to deal with all the slings and arrows during your time at DOGE. There's this.
Some of the people, some of the media organizations in this room with the slingers.
Well, there is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line between.
Is New York?
Oh, yeah, this is the thing we examined before when with Elon Musk going on fucking constant ketamine binges. Bro has had so much fucking ketamine that he can't fucking pee properly anymore, which is a side effect of, using a lot of fucking ketamine. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
New York Times, is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
I gotta check.
Yeah, again, we've debunked this already. The Mueller report found credible evidence of Trump associates like Paul Manafort engaging in rather fucking sussy behavior with, the Russians. Crazy of trying to find dirt on Hillary Clinton. It's not hyperbole. It's not a fucking lie. What Russiagate was proven to be correct. So, I don't know, cope about it, I guess. Whatever.
My Pulitzer account.
It is.
I think the judge just ruled.
Yeah, and I think there's also a Pulitzer, there's a fucking lawsuit about it because fucking Elon, not Elon, but Trump is upset about the fact that his illegal actions gets constantly investigated by journalists. So, will the New York Times capitulate to fucking Trump's stupid fucking nonsense? I don't know. Knowing this sort of sane washing and sort of collaboration's the term. Yeah, collaboration that the New York Times and all these other like dumbass fucking outlets love to participate in all the fucking time. I have a feeling, just call it a hunch that yes, it may be the case that, you know, they're probably gonna go along with this like complete utter fucking bullshit. So, whatever.
Against the New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize. That New York Times. Let's move on.
Okay,
Next question.
I got one.
Now that fucking dude thinks he hit that fucking zinger, dude. He's like, listen, they're complete charlatans and liars, and it's just like, but there was credible evidence found in Russiagate about like the actions of the Trump administration being bad. Like it was credible. Like it just was. It was. So, you know, whatever.
President Trump. Biden aides who used to work here are in talks
really
with
thought he fucking
Republicans in
nailed
Congress
that
to go
shit.
and testify about what they did or didn't do to possibly conceal President Biden's decline. Do you think that Dr. Jill Biden should also have to come in and testify about what she did or didn't do?
Well, I hate the concept of it. It's the wife of a man who was going through a lot of problems, and everybody that dealt with him understood that. And I guess it came out during the debate loud and clear. That was the biggest signal of all. They have to do what's right. The country was there was a lot of dishonesty in the election, as you know, of 2020. That's been now caught. People understand it was a rigged election. And when you go further out, when you see the auto pen, I mean, I think the auto pen is going to become one of the great scandals of all time because you have somebody operating it or a number of people operating. Because I knew Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't in favor of opening up borders, letting 21 million people into this from prisons and mental institutions and gang members.
I don't know how many times they have to fucking debunk this shit. No, that's just that's TPS. That's just not how TPS works. God, we'll pull it up again. He didn't let them in. How many times do we have to fucking debunk this fucking stupid conspiracy theory? About nearly 1.2 million of the roughly 21.6 million non-citizen immigrants living in the U.S. are either receiving or eligible for TPS. And again, God, I've done this so many fucking times. He keeps lying. He's just wrong about this. Why? Why was there a massive influx of Venezuelan immigrants? Because of the fucking coup attempt that happened and the associated sanctions that happened right after in 2019. Done by who? Oh, Trump. Trump did that. That's why. There was a large fucking wave of Venezuelan migrants. Whoa, what a shocker that it's because of fucking Trump that this shit happened. I don't know. It's silly.
He wasn't into that at all. And you know, who signed these orders, proclamations, and all of the different things that he signed that set our country so far back? That was so bad for our country.
With the auto pen, how would it work? Like, we're in the Oval Office right now. If there was a group of rogue staffers that work for you who wanted to advance a bill or...
I don't even know about this, like, stupid auto pen shit. What the fuck does this matter? Why? Who cares? Oh no, it's an automated pen that's used to sign bills. That means it's causing the downfall of the United States. It's silly.
An executive order without your knowledge. How could they do it? How do they go
Well, it's very
and
hard because I'd read your newspapers or your media the next day and I'd say, well, I didn't approve that, and I would find it. I mean, they wouldn't get away with it for long because I'd say, I never signed that. Who the hell signed that? Auto pens, to me, are used to sign letters to people because we get, I think they said 20,000 letters a week, and you like to be able, when somebody takes the time to write a letter, it's nice to sort of write back. And auto pens are meant for that. Auto pens are not meant to sign major proclamations or tax cuts or borders, anything having to do with the border, which is so important. And if it happened on my watch, I would be able to see it because the next day or sooner I'd be reading about something that I knew nothing about and who the hell signed this. So I almost never use the auto pen. In fact, yesterday I was signing.
Like, I don't know. Like, what is there even to engage with here? It's just nonsense, right? It's silly.
About 81, I think it was 81 proclamations and statements to people that I think should be signed by us. I think when you write letters to foreign dignitaries or presidents or prime ministers, you should be signing those letters, not done with auto pens. I understand he signed almost everything with an auto pen. It's a very dangerous thing. It really means you're not president. Whoever operated the auto pen, and we think we know who that is, and it was actually more than one person, but that's not what the presidency is all about.
I don't think they know who operated the auto pen. I don't believe them. Why do I not believe them? Why do I not believe them? You know, I don't believe them. I just don't.
Hardly used to
reinstate the tariffs on China. You said that they violated the agreement with the U.S.
Well, they did. They violated a big part of the agreement we made. You know, if you read that whole statement, I was very nice to them. I helped them because they were in trouble with the stoppage of a massive amount of business. But I'm sure that I'll speak to President Xi and hopefully we'll work that out. But yeah, there's a violation of the agreement. Yeah, please.
Doesn't go into at all what the violation, like, what is the violation of the agreement? Like, why don't we look at this at what is the violation of the trade agreement with China. Like, what is it? He keeps saying this. Breaching trade agreement among tariff control. I don't know. Let's see the Washington Post. No, of course they fucking spam me with that shit. Reuters, sure. Like, what did China do? Like what? Rally in Pennsylvania, Nippon Steel. Rare earth licenses told Reuters that it appeared China was moving slowly on promises to issue export license for rare earth minerals. The deal called for China to lift trade countermeasures that restrict its exports of critical critical metals needed for U.S. semiconductor, electronics, and defense production. The Chinese are slow rolling their compliance, which is completely unacceptable. Wait, that doesn't mean they're violating the fucking agreement. They're just slow rolling it, okay? Because, man, why would they slow roll it? Because of Trump's fucking belligerence. Because he can't be fucking trusted with anything. So they're just gonna slow roll. I don't understand. Like, what exactly is the problem here? I don't know. It's silly. It's stupid.
Can you give us an update to the latest ceasefire agreement that Israel has agreed to, but Hamas is still considering?
Well, they're very close to an agreement on Gaza, and we'll let you know about it during the day or maybe tomorrow. And we have a chance of that. And I think we have a chance of making a deal with Iran also. They don't want to be blown up. They would rather make a deal. And I think that could happen in the not-too-distant future. That would be a great thing if we could have a
Iran
deal
wants to make a deal,
without
folks.
bombs being dropped all over the Middle East. That would be a very good thing. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We want them to be safe. We want them to have a very, very successful nation. Let it be a great nation, but we can't have them. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. And I think we're fairly close to a deal with Iran.
I believe that Iran has been getting closer and closer to the enrichment necessary for weapons-grade uranium, I think. You know, they've been getting closer and closer to the threshold of like 90%, I think, for weapons-grade uranium. And again, it's because of a lot of Trump's fucking idiotic belligerence. Like, he is the reason why this is fucking happening. Like, well, it's not only him, right? I'm not going to say, okay. Honestly, in this respect, it's not 100% fucking Trump's fault. A lot of it is also because of Israel. But again, the manufacturing of consent for Israel being done constantly by the Trump administration is also, like, a significantly fucking goddamn contributing to the fucking problem. So, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe if Israel just wasn't, like, I don't know, so dog shit of, like, a nation. Maybe if they stopped their ethno-nationalism. You know, maybe. Maybe there would be peace in the Middle East. Nah, just saying.
Yeah, please.
You said just now that you look forward to being a friend and advisor to the president. So do you expect to continue advising the president and DOGE informally, or are you going to sort of shift your focus entirely to your companies?
Well, I expect to continue to provide advice whenever the president would like advice.
I hope so.
I mean, I expect to remain a friend and an advisor, and certainly if there's anything the president wants me to do, I'm at the president's service.
Mr. Musk, on DOGE, you said that there was $1 trillion promise for cuts from DOGE.
Yes, I think we do expect over time to achieve $1 trillion.
But what have you found in your time here was the biggest roadblock to getting those cuts? Was it the cabinet, or was it Congress, or something else? What was the biggest roadblock from your work?
It's mostly just a lot of hard work. It's really not any one person or Congress. It's going through. Really
Yeah, I totally believe that Elon Musk is working very, very hard. Yeah, dude, totally.
Millions of line items and saying does each one of them make sense or does not make sense. Obviously, at times when you cut expenses, those who are receiving the money, whether they're receiving that money legitimately or not, they do complain. And you're not going to hear someone confessing that they receive money inappropriately. Never. They're going to always say that they receive money appropriately for an important cause. Naturally, that's what you'd expect. So we just got to, it's just a lot of work going through the vast expenses of the federal government and just really asking questions. What's this money for? Are you sure it's actually
Bro, we're
being used
asking
well?
some questions, bros.
Many times we can't even find anyone who defends it. So for a lot of the expenses, there's actually no defender at all. And then we have to just go work through the process of stopping the spending, where there's often literally no defender. Nobody even knows why the money's being spent. It's truly absurd. I mean, we find situations where there are millions of software licenses with 0 people using them. 0. Exactly. This is the quizzical expression. You're like, surely, if there's millions of software licenses, someone should be using them. No, and then we've got to go through the process.
Okay, Elon, I know that you don't know how companies work, but, like, quite literally, like, a bunch of companies will have a bunch of extra software licenses. How do I know this? I work in fucking tech, right? A bunch of companies will have extra software licenses just in case they have to do, like, a bunch of emergency hires. This happens all the fucking time. They'll have a couple of extra just kind of lying around if they have to do emergency stuff. This is constant. But Elon doesn't fucking know any of that stuff. Which is... It's probably the same thing with how the government also operates. They probably have a bunch of emergency licenses lying around just in case shit happens.
Of saying, okay, look, if no one's using the software, we can terminate this software license agreement. That's everywhere.
Mr. Musk, what do you think would...
I'm curious about this. Elon software license claim. Sure. Doge's misplaced war on software licenses. Let's see. Yeah, also, like, multi-user environments is also a fucking thing. Like, he doesn't understand that. There's tons of reasons for as to why you have extra software licenses lying around, right? Like, multi-user fucking environments. Like, quite literally. Listen to this story. Elon Musk's Department of Government agency announced this week that it covered large batches of unused software licenses as it continues to hunt for examples of waste in Washington. On Monday, DOGE alleged that the General Services Administration has 37,000 licenses for the file compression encryption tool WinZip. Dude, just use WinRAR. What do you mean? Why are you doing that? Even though the agency has only about 13,000 employees. Fixes are actively in work. Okay. Is Elmo so dumb that he doesn't understand multi-user license deals and that it's very unlikely that any license has its full potential of users? That's a pretty good fucking point. This happens all the fucking time. That's how software licenses just work. But, you know. Understanding DOGE's license scrutiny. On his ongoing quest to trim federal spending, led by Elon Musk, to turn its attention to a prime example of government waste, software licenses, 37,000, workforce of 15,000. He still doesn't understand what multi-user fucking licenses mean, but whatever. Why licenses don't tell the full story. When DOGE announced that the General Services Administration had nearly 3 times as many WinZip licenses as employees, the implication was clear: government waste has been uncovered. However, software licensing experts and federal IT managers quickly pointed out several legitimate reasons for this apparent discrepancy. Device-based versus user-based licensing. As Liz Lesius, spokesperson for Alludo, formerly Coral, the company behind WinZip, explained to Wired, licensing for WinZip is based on the number of devices on which it is installed. Oh, so guess what? They have probably 37,000 different devices. Crazy. So it's like I said before, they probably have a bunch of extra shit just lying around just in case they need extra devices. They all need licensing then for these fucking softwares. Crazy. So what? Based on the number of devices on which it is installed, not the number of employees which have access to the software. This fundamental distinction undermines the direct comparison between license counts and employee head counts. Whoa. In modern federal agencies, employees often use multiple devices, desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and testing environments. Yeah, that's also a pretty good fucking point. Whoa. At Elon, people use multiple devices for multiple fucking reasons. And guess what? Each individual device gets a fucking license for that software. Crazy. Each requiring its own license for installed software. It is typical that there are more devices than employees in an organization. Yup. Why? In case people get fucking onboarded and they don't have to just order in what they fucking need at any particular time. He just doesn't understand how IT works. How do I know this? I work in IT. I know, because I've done this stuff before. So it's stupid. It's very, very silly, dude. It is typical that there are more devices than employees in an organization. Latest is loaded, highlighting a reality that applies across both public and private sectors. And also, yes, you need different permissions and accesses for contractor and external user access. This is very, very common. Federal agencies frequently provide software access to contractors, temporary workers, and external partners who collaborate on government projects but aren't counted in official employee tallies. You know, a lot of the people that Doge just randomly got rid of. But whatever, sure. These additional users require legitimate licenses but aren't reflected in the employee numbers Doge used as its baseline for comparison. A former federal official who worked on technology licensing across multiple presidential administrations told Wired that agencies may also purchase software licenses on behalf of their contractors, often because government negotiated rates provide better value than what contractors could secure independently. It is a very clear way for agencies to manage costs, the official explained. So yeah, Elon doesn't understand how multi-level, like multi-user agreements work, and he doesn't understand that very often organizations have more devices than people. Why? In case they onboard people, they have devices to give to them so they can start working. That's how that works. Crazy.
Be easier, colonizing Mars or making the government efficient?
It's a tough call, but I think colonizing Mars and making life multi-planetary is harder. And as I said, we do expect to achieve over time.
We love the
we can't do it in like a few months, but if you say,
keep in mind, this is also the same motherfucker who said that we should have been on Mars by like now. 2025 is the year where we should have been on Mars. TikTok, Elon, why aren't we on Mars? Oh, it's a complete charlatan nonsense to begin with. Silly.
I think the official end of DOGE, which the president may choose to extend, is the middle of next year. Say by the middle of next year, with the support of the president and Congress, could we achieve $20 of savings? I think so. We're on track to do so.
Do you think that Congress is going to do
Thank you, Mr. President. You had mentioned earlier in the week that DOGE had become a whipping boy, and as the president mentioned, you went through a lot to go through this process.
Yes.
Was it worth it for you, and what would you change?
So what we found was happening was that if there were any cuts anywhere, then people would assume that was done by DOGE. And so we became like essentially the DOGE boogeyman, where if any cut anywhere would be ascribed to DOGE. A friend of mine's daughter, who's at law school at Georgetown, thought that DOGE had cut the Senate, the internships, the legal internships for the Senate, and we have nothing to do with that. So if they haven't cut, it's nothing to do with us, just as an example. So it just became a bit ridiculous where any cut anywhere was somehow DOGE, including things that made no sense, and we would agree.
I mean, buddy, you're the one who initially started doing all the cuts before the fucking big, beautiful bill started coming in and fucking with all that shit. Yeah, you did a lot of cuts of federal employees, thus making things way more fucking inefficient, which, guess what? That pissed off a lot of people. Crazy, I know.
It made no sense. There are many things that occur in the government because it's the banal evil of bureaucracy. It's sort of the frankly largely uncaring nature of bureaucracy. It's as the great Milton Friedman said, money is spent most poorly when it is someone else's money being spent on people you don't know, and that's how federal spending is. And then you can't really even.
What the fuck are you fucking talking about, dude? Like, federal spending is used on like social safety net programs and stuff like that, dude. It's not just like willy-nilly spent. I mean, of course he mentions fucking Milton Friedman, that complete hack charlatan, but other people's money are spent on goods and fucking services that are only provided by the state. The problem is the U.S. fucking state is so captured by corporations and so fucking ridiculously broken and deregulated that, whoa, it's not able to serve in its fucking purpose or function to do regulatory business and practices. But yeah, well, actually it's all just bad because it's the state that's doing it. No, you're just mad about the fact that a lot of fucking federal organizations and stuff like that have to fucking regulate your dumbass fucking companies. Why do you that's why you went so hard against the fucking against the FAA in particular, right? He went so hard against the FAA because of the fact that they were saying you need to pay for the fact that you keep throwing in random fucking space junk all the time, and we want you to stop doing that. And Elon doesn't want to fucking stop doing that because, again, for him it's all about he just wants to fucking do a belligerent nonsense in space all the fucking time. Crazy. Who would have thought?
Blame the individuals because the way the government works is complaint minimization. So when someone within the government tries to stop money being spent, there's usually someone that complains, and then their manager will say it's not worth the trouble, just pay it anyway. That happens over and over again.
So was it
I think it was an important thing. I think it was a necessary thing. I think it will have a good effect in the future.
Thank you, President Trump. This week there was a video on board a plane that showed the First Lady of France slapping her husband, Emmanuel Macron. Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice on the phones?
make sure the door remains closed. That was not good. No, I spoke to him. And
I'm so curious. Wait, really? Macron getting slapped by furious white and embarrassing airport. They were bickering. Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
he's fine. They're fine. They're two really good people. I know them very well, and I don't know what that was all about, but I know them very well, and they're fine.
What do you think about the Democratic Party plan to avoid being swept in every battleground state again by spending $20 million to study how to speak to American men?
Well, you know, they spent 2.8 billion. We spent 1.5. We spent much less. We spent about half of what they spent, and at the end they were $28 million short. They had to be. They spent 2.8 billion. It's a lot, but they couldn't get 28 million at the end, and now they want to spend. I read that they want to spend money to learn how to talk. That's fake. You don't want to be fake. You shouldn't have to hire consultants to say what America needs, because then they should be the consultants should be running the deal, not them. But I read that.
I mean, Trump's not wrong here. He's correct when he's saying this. Yeah, this like idea that you need to learn how to speak to a young American, it's stupid. You know, constant fucking failures of the fucking Democratic Party being laid pretty fucking threadbare here. Whoa, who would have thought they're fucking worthless? Yeah, crazy.
We want to spend a lot of money in each state. So we won all 7 swing states, 7 out of 7. We won a lot more than that. We won the popular vote. We won everything. And they want to spend money to find out what they did wrong. And I mean, I can tell you what they did wrong. I can tell you every one of their programs. When they say men playing in women's sports, I would say that's not a winner. When they say transgender for everybody, I think that's not a winner. When they
yeah, that's not the reasons why the Democrats fucking lost. The Democrats lost because they don't fucking believe in anything. At the very least, the Republicans have a sort of, you know, belief and thought for like the future, right? They have like something, an agenda that they push for. It's wretched and horrible and evil. No shit. But it's an agenda. It exists. It's something, technically speaking, but that's the real fucking problem with the Democratic Party. They're so fucking consultant brained and like policy wonk fucking brained that they're never going to be able to be effective at speaking to the American people because, again, like no one likes the vibes of fucking being a Democrat. That's like the biggest fucking problem. Just no one wants to be a Democrat because it's just not cool to be a Democrat, which is obviously like, okay, silly and stupid, right? Like, I think that the fact that this is the case is fucking ridiculous, but, you know, unfortunately, this is just kind of the environment that we currently find ourselves in. So, what can you do?
They say open borders so the entire world population of criminals can pour into our country. I don't think that's a winner. I mean, I just gave them that for free.
It's definitely happening.
I don't know if they'll change their ways. I see them all the time. I see people that I know in
again, like, Trump's never going to give the actual, like, that's not the actual reasons why the Democrats fucking lost, but they lost because they're a fundamentally dead party that doesn't believe in anything. That's the problem with the Democrats.
Congress Democrats, they're trying to justify some of the things I just said. You can't justify them. They're, you know, I always hear they're 80-20 issues. I say they're not 80-20, they're 97-3. They might be 99-1. They're not 80-20. They wish they were 80-20. And they're wasting a lot of money if they're going to continue with that nonsense.
And this one's a little bit more of a page 6 question, but back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know, he didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people.
Bro, you do like nothing that's fucking right. Like, you are very, very fucking unpopular right now, Trump. Like, what are you waffling on about, bro? Like, you are very, very unpopular. I think we just read this like not that long ago, but his current approval rating is like what, 39%? That's pretty bad, my dude.
Would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't. It's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President, on the Big Beautiful Bill, would you like to see the Senate build in some support for your tariffs on the Big Beautiful Bill, or should that be a standalone bill?
I have great support on the tariffs. I mean, I was so honored that we got that ridiculous stay lifted because that would have taken away presidential power. It would have taken away everything that was.
Trump is lying about this. He's talking about the not the Supreme Court, but the Federal Appeals Court when he appealed the International Trade Court in New York, that 3-judge panel that said, like, yeah, you can't do this under the IEE PA, right? And he appealed it. It went to the Federal Court of Appeals, and they said, like, well, we still need to take a look and assess the current merit of this, not the appeal, but of the actual, not injunction, but of the what the International Trade Court is saying. So for now, temporarily, we're going to let Trump's unilateral tariff use still go on for the time being, while we continue to assess and see, if Trump can continue to do what he claims he can do. Personally, I think what he's doing is probably illegal, because there is no. He justified the tariffs as if there is an emergency currently in the U.S. What is the emergency? Meh.
Was granted by the founders. It would have been a terrible thing, and it would have, most importantly, would have left us vulnerable. We have a lot of countries that use tariffs on us and use them viciously. And if we didn't have the power to use tariffs on them, and instantly, not when you go back to Congress and try and get hundreds of people to agree on something, that would take months to get just one simple proclamation. If we didn't have the power to counteract their...
Yeah, but the problem is, Trump, is that, like, a lot of the fucking shit that you do is, it's illegal. Including this. This is also illegal.
Hours, you wouldn't have a country left. We have to act fast. We have to be fast and nimble, as they say. And that was a really great moment, I think, yesterday when that stay was lifted. And hopefully now we'll go to court and just win that battle. Because if we don't have the power to do what they're doing to us, we are going to be a great nation no longer.
Elon Musk was once idolized by folks on the left in this country before joining your administration. Now he's considered a hero by conservatives. Why do you think this man, what he's done in American life, has been so politicized?
His life has been amazing. I mean, I look at so many different things.
I wonder why his life is so politicized, I wonder why. I wonder why. Donated, I wonder why he's considered to be fucking politicized. I can't think of anything in particular. I wonder why. I mean, we can even just go, like, take a quick look on fucking Twitter and see, like, I don't know, whatever, like, idiotic nonsense most of, like, the dipshits of Twitter like to constantly talk about or say. Elon Musk is, like, so politicized now. Why is that? I could think of some reasons.
I look at that rocket being, guided back into position. I've never seen that before. I thought it was a space movie. I thought it was a movie. You look at what he's done in terms of communication. It's been unbelievable. So many different, even tunnels going underground, not having to go through all the process of going, he's got to come.
Yeah, the stupid grift that Elon Musk did with, like, all of his stupid dumb fuck companies because, he wanted to stop California from building high-speed rail. So he's just like, dude, I'm just going to make a company, the Boring Company, in order to, make it such that California doesn't install high-speed rail because everyone needs to drive Teslas and needs to drive my products. That's actually the real reasoning. But, it's because of drilling holes in the ground. Totally.
Company that does that. He's got so many different companies. Starlink, as an example. He saved a lot of lives, probably hundreds of lives in North Carolina. I don't even know if you remember, but I called you. They needed Starlink in North Carolina. And I didn't know what the hell Starlink was. I said, what is it? Who owns it? He said, do you know Elon Musk? I said, yeah, I happen to know the gentleman. This was before his government stay. And they said, we really need it because North Carolina became an island. People had no communication. They had no access to anything, and they were dying. And I called up Elon, and you can't get it because it's so successful. It's very hard to get. And he had...
I mean, the reason why there was also some problems, broadly speaking, with what was going on there in particular is because of the fact that, it's because of the fact that there's been a lot of fucking defunding and deregulation of fucking FEMA that was done by mostly fucking Republicans. So, again, these motherfuckers, in terms of, like, disaster relief, it's mostly the Republican Party that are to blame for all of the fucking government inefficiencies because they keep fucking with the government constantly and making it more and more inefficient to the degree that, hey, it's not able to provide the fucking services it needs. Because again, if the government is able to provide the fucking services it needs to the people, they would never fucking vote Republican ever again. No one would want any of that stuff to be cut. So, and since we have to fucking provide, guess what? All the power and, maintenance of hierarchy and control. What is the first order principle for all these fucking dumbass conservatives? It's that exactly. Since they have to do everything possible in order to maintain these systems of power and control, of course, it's like harder than fucking ever to, have, this sort of like necessary vestiges of not power, but the sort of like necessary mechanisms that is used and needed throughout the fucking government in order to be able to provide for the fucking people. Because guess what? They keep getting like tampered with or destroyed by conservatives who are in league with fucking billionaires. Crazy. It's almost as if the billionaires are the main fucking problem, guys. Crazy. Who would have thought?
So much of it brought over there, and they told me it was unbelievable. It saved a lot of lives. So, he's just done a lot of things. I don't think he gets credit for what he's done. But he's a very good person, too.
Elon's done so much good.
He wasn't a good person, but he did the same things. I'd probably maybe speak differently. He happens to be a really good person who loves the country.
One big, beautiful bill. You had indicated this week that there were some things you didn't like about what had passed in the House. What changes do you want to see the Senate make? And you had also indicated there were things you didn't like about the bill. What would you be suggesting he push senators to change in their version?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll go first. It's an unbelievable bill. It cuts your deficits. It cuts, it's a huge cutting. But
it raises the fucking deficit. He's just lying. He's just wrong. It, in fact, raises the deficit by $3.8 trillion by doing tax cuts for the rich. So, and that's like the current sort of talking point that the Republicans are running with. It's just like, oh, what do you mean? Like, this is totally like not going to go into the deficit. It's just a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie.
But there's the things I'd like to see maybe cut a little bit more. I'd like to see a bigger cut in taxes. It's going to be the largest tax decrease or cut in the history of our country.
Let's go. Raise the deficit more.
A lower number. I was shooting for a slightly lower number. I would have
raised the deficit more.
But with all of that being said, when you look at the tax cut and the fact that the original tax cut, which made us so successful, we had the most successful 4 years in the history of our country, the economy, and this is going to be even better. And you see that by the reports that came out just yesterday or tonight. I guess they were released this morning at 8 o'clock. You see the kind of numbers where somebody that's a pro is like, whoa, I haven't seen numbers like this since I've been doing this. These are human emotions of professionals that have never seen numbers like, and we've just started.
The deficit
the bill is a great bill. It's going to be
raise it more.
It's going to be negotiated with the Senate, with the House, but the end result is it extends the Trump tax cuts. If it doesn't get approved...
Yeah, which is not deficit neutral. It adds to the fucking deficit more and more and more. But these motherfuckers don't care about any of that shit.
You'll have a 68% tax increase. You're going to go up 68%. That's a number that nobody's ever heard of before. You'll have a massive tax increase. If it does get approved, you'll have a large tax cut, the largest we've ever had. When you add the past tax cuts that we got you, the Trump tax, they call them the Trump tax cuts. It's an amazing bill. It does amazing things. With all of that, it's going to be adjusted a little bit over the next coming weeks, and I think it's going to be passed. The Republicans want to pass it. With all of the great things it does...
No, they don't. Not in the current form, at least. They fucking hate this bill. But, okay, sure, yeah. Republicans totally want to pass my big, beautiful bill, which is so big and beautiful. Also, again, negative points for originality as always with Trump. Big, beautiful bill, build back better. Fascists and originality do not go well together at all.
Including an extension of debt. It's the extension. We have to extend the debt. If we don't extend debt, we're in default. Now, the Democrats might like our country to be in default, but in 250 years, we've never been in default. That was handed to them by a very well-meaning man that gave it...
Yeah, but you are the guys that keep constantly doing that shit. You're the one who... It's so fucking ridiculous and silly that it's like... Because of like the Democrats' ineffectiveness and like sort of like talking about and dealing with fucking taxes, like they completely ceded the issue to the fucking Republicans when under every fucking Republican fucking administration ever since I think ever since Reagan, they have increased the debt and the fucking deficit. Like, this motherfucker also increased the debt and the fucking deficit during his first term. He's just lying. He's just lying and he's wrong.
to them because he thought it was the right thing to do. It could have been their problem before the election, but this man thought it was the right thing to do, and he was well-meaning. I don't hold anything against him for that, but that was put on our plate when it should have been on the Democrats. September 28th, the famous date. It should have been taken care of by the Democrats, but this person, a man of power, gave it to us so that in June that comes due. Well, we have to take care of that because if we don't take care of it, we have a country in default, and we don't ever want to have a country in default. You know, I'll tell you, a certain senator, Elizabeth Warren, said that she would never, ever allow a default on our debt. She would never let it happen. And
but you guys are the ones who keep pushing for policies and tax cuts for the rich that would make this fucking happen. Like, God, it's so fucking annoying and insane to just be like, dude, like, you people are the ones who are responsible for the U.S. fucking potentially defaulting on its fucking debt, and it's just like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not us, it's totally, it's because of, like, Elizabeth Warren and all those people. It's actually not, we have nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about.
she would like to get rid of the debt ceiling, what's called the debt ceiling. I call it the debt extension because we really need an extension, that she'd like to see that gotten rid of. And there are many people that agree, many Democrats agree with that, but we gave that through, and you know, I don't want to say an error, he did it well-meaning. They gave that to us. It was a Democrat problem just before the election, would have had a huge impact on the election. And to our benefit, we won anyway, but to our benefit. But felt that really for the good of the country, we should extend that. But Elizabeth Warren and various other people would like to see that, her whole career she wanted to see it terminated, gotten rid of, not being voted.
Yeah, because the debt ceiling is often used as like a measure and excuse of Republicans to interrupt like good fucking legislation that would help the social safety net. That's why Elizabeth Warren wants to see the debt ceiling gotten rid of. It's because it's often used by the Republican Party to be like, this is not going to be debt or deficit neutral. Like, you know, the stupid like fucking PAYGO shit that constantly fucking happens. As like an excuse to not have like good progressive legislation passed through any parts of Congress. Like quite literally, people talk about constantly how like Congress is incredibly ineffective and will never get anything accomplished or done. Shit like the fucking deficit and like not the deficit but the debt ceiling are reasons for as to why. And it's not like an official sort of like Senate procedure. It's just like a tradition that they have. It's stupid.
Voted on every 5 years or 10 years. And the reason was because it's so catastrophic for our country. And I always agreed with her. That was one thing I agreed with her on. Now, I haven't spoken to her, but I would say that if you asked her that question now, she'd say, no, it's their problem. But it's a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah, because, again, like, the reason why it's your guys' problem is because you are the Republican Party is the one who always fucking It's you guys who constantly use it all the fucking time, incredulously. It's actually just insane, dude.
Very unfair situation, and she happened to be right on that. It should be gotten rid of, or it should simply be extended. But that's one of the things that gets taken care of in this bill. That automatically gets extended for a 4-year period, and it should be. But I agree with Elizabeth Warren on that. I think you should get rid of it. It's too catastrophic. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are they still welcomed to study in the United States? And one question for Mr. Musk.
The students? Well, we want to have great students here. We just don't want students that are causing trouble. We want to have students. I want to have foreign students. I think Harvard, you know, is close to...
What trouble are they causing? Saying genocide is bad. Not crazy. Who would have thought?
31%, that's a lot. Our country's given 5.
I think like Marco Rubio is trying to assess the fucking student visas now to see if they have like Chinese Communist Party ties now. Like that's the fucking thing that's happening, right? Like Marco Rubio, Chinese student visa. Yeah, after Rubio seeks to revoke their visas, Chinese students say U.S. resembles the country they left. Not crazy. Who would have thought? Chinese students say they're questioning the decision to study in the U.S. after Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that the federal government will attempt to aggressively revoke their visas. What did these Chinese students do? I don't know. Like maybe protest for Palestinian emancipation. Not even that. Like. That's probably also just complete fucking hogwash and bullshit. No, it's fucking xenophobia fucking bullshit because this guy's a fucking neoconservative, right? He's a neocon. There's no war he didn't like. So obviously he's going to like come up with like the stupid excuse of saying like, well, you know, they're obviously all a bunch of Chi-Com fucking bastards who want to, I don't know, see the downfall of America. I don't know, buddy. You're working for the administration that's orchestrating that itself pretty fucking easily. But yeah, sure. Okay, whatever.
billion plus to Harvard over a short period of time. Nobody knew that. We found that out. I wouldn't say that was a DOGE thing, but we found that out over a period of time. That was sort of a Trump thing. We ended up in litigation for other reasons because they're very anti-Semitic. And in finding out and in going through...
Yeah, the anti-Semitism in question. Personally, I think Palestinians should not be turned into mulch. Fuck! I did an anti-Semitism. Fuck, it's over for me, guys.
The books, we found out that the country gave them $5 billion plus, much more than that, actually. And we're having it out with them, and let's see what happens. I think we have a very good, well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions, too, that are acting, but Harvard...
Yeah, because they want to fucking capitulate to you, right? Harvard is not willing to capitulate to fucking Trump's fucking idiotic bullshit because they have the fucking money, right? They have billions of fucking dollars of money in order to be able to fight these stupid, deleterious fucking lawsuits. This complete fucking utter nonsense. This attack on educational institutions that the Trump administration is attempting to orchestrate. But, you know, whatever. Complete stupid nonsense, as always, from this stupid, dumbass fucking administration.
Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happens is every 3 days we find another $100 million that was given. 2 days ago we found $200 million more. The money's given to them like gravy. I'd like to see the money go to trade schools, where people learn how to fix motors and engines, where people learn how to build rockets.
Let's go! The new learn to code, learn a fucking trade. Let's go! It's fucking happening. The new fucking wave of propaganda of, dude, what if everyone just like learned to heckin' trade instead of learned how to do, I don't know, all this other stuff that's also necessary and fucking important. Who's ready for a new fucking, hiring wave to not fucking materialize at all when all these people learn to fucking trade? I'm telling you, dude, it's gonna fucking happen. Just you wait, like 5 fucking years from now, when all these motherfuckers, you know, saying like, oh, dude, I learned how to become a plumber, and there's like no fucking jobs for plumbing at all. Because it's gonna fucking happen. Same shit with learn to code. Learn a fucking trade, learn a code. Great.
Rocket ships, because you know somebody has to build those rocket ships, and I'd like to see trade schools set up because you could take $5 billion plus hundreds of billions more, which is what's spent, and you could have the greatest trade school system anywhere in the world, and that's what we need to build his rockets and robots and things that he's doing, and to build lots of other things. And you know
you're gonna need, like, it's not plumbers and carpenter. Do you know what a tradesman is, Trump? Those are carpenters, construction workers, plumbers. Those guys don't build robotics. Those are engineers, software developers that build fucking robotics, you moron.
I went to school with people. In some cases, they weren't good students, but they could fix the engine of a car better than anybody I've ever seen. They could take it apart blindfolded. They had an ability at that. And they did very well. They made a lot of money. You know, it's a very skilled job. It's great. But I'd like to see a lot of money going into trade schools. I've always felt that. And we probably found our pot of gold, and that's what's been wasted at places like Harvard. And the money's been wasted. Yeah, please.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, I wasn't anywhere near France, so. But.
What does that mean?
No,
I didn't notice it.
First Lady of France.
I didn't notice.
So, yeah, no, I was just walking around with Lex, and I said, go ahead, punch me in the face, and he did. Turns out even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
No, it was X that did?
Imagine getting a black eye from a fucking 5-year-old. How much of a fucking pussy are you, Elon? Pussy. Imagine getting a black eye from a fucking 5-year-old. God, that's fucking hilarious. That's the most fucking pathetic shit I've ever heard of in my fucking life. Like, I got punched in the face by a 5-year-old, so, that is why I, have a black eye now. Like, fucking Christ, bro. God! He's such a fucking loser.
X could do it. If you knew X,
I saw his mom right now. I didn't
yeah, that X, I guess that X really did give it to him, huh? Yeah, literally.
So much at the time, and then I guess it brings up. But I just wasn't around the kid.
I didn't notice it, actually.
I know that you try to stay pretty neutral because not your war. But as you
by the way, not my war. I just want to solve the problem for people. This was not a war that was going to happen if I were president.
Right, and so not your war. But as you try to fix it, and as you survey this hellscape.
I mean, again, like, fucking this motherfucker gave a bunch of fucking weapons to the fucking Ukrainians. It's about as much his war as anyone else's war. Kerch Strait incident happened under the Trump administration. Yeah, whatever.
of the Ukrainian front lines.
It's horrible.
And you and your team deal with a very stubborn Vladimir Putin. Do you
And
look,
Zelensky.
But do you look at this
Very
conflict?
stubborn Zelensky, too.
You know, we gotta make sure it's both sides. Yeah, totally. Zelensky's being is one of the main guys who's being really fucking stubborn because of he has to deal with a belligerent such as yourself. I think it's understandable why he may be being a little stubborn because of like all the stupid arbitrary bullshit that you keep putting the fucking way for no reason. But whatever.
Any differently now? Like, do you look at this and see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy?
So I've known him very well, and I went through a lot of things with him because Russia was, the Russia hoax turned out to be a total hoax. New York Times, they got a Pulitzer Prize. They have to get back the Pulitzer Prize. That's my lawsuit, and they're doing very poorly on that lawsuit. But they wrote stories about how it was.
Yeah, because the New York Times would prefer to fucking capitulate to your stupid ass instead of dealing with your dumb fucking deleterious fucking lawsuits. Failures of American media, yet again, showing its stupid, fucking ugly head as always.
It was false, and a lot of Washington Post also. I have gotten to see things that I was very surprised at. Rockets being shot into cities like Kiev during a negotiation that I felt was maybe very close to ending. We were going to solve a problem, and then all of a sudden rockets got shot into a couple of cities and people died. I saw things that I was surprised at. So
I'm being played like a complete fiddle. I'm saying, Vladimir, stop. I thought we were best friends. Why aren't you stopping? Why do you keep bombing those Ukrainians? I thought we were in negotiations. Because Comrade Trump, it was never about giving hope to the Ukrainians. We just want to fucking conquer their country. Because Vladimir Putin's doing this to secure a legacy. That's the only reason why he's fucking doing this. But does this dumbass know about that? No.
And I don't like being surprised. So I'm very disappointed in that way. With that being said, I'd like to see it end. 5,000 people, I think the number's even more than that, but 5,000 people a week are being killed. Mostly soldiers, but also people that live in...
Are 5,000 people being killed a week in Ukraine? I'm curious. Are 5,000 people being killed a week in Ukraine? Kiev independent. Trump claims 5,000 Russians, Ukrainian soldiers are killed every week. Here's what the numbers say. Because I'm just going to say this right here. The casualty numbers would be, do not fucking reflect this. Maybe like overall in the whole entirety of the world? I don't know. After the deadliest attack on Kiev last summer killed 13 civilians, U.S. President Donald Trump appears to have said lose patience with Russia, posting on social media. Vladimir, stop! 5,000 soldiers are dying. A week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. Of course, Putin doesn't want to do that because he wants to fucking conquer the country, but whatever. Trump repeated a number he cited in the past to push for a quick resolution to the war in Ukraine without evidence to back up his statement. Oh, so he's just saying random shit to try to pressure the Russians. I don't know, why he thinks that's going to be effective, because the Russians probably also have an understanding as to what the casualty amounts are happening in the war. They probably know that it's not 5,000 soldiers a week that are dying, but whatever. Although his figure is far higher than public estimates, a lack of official data to counter his claims meant it was widely quoted with limited pushback. Both Ukraine and Russia closely guard the numbers as state secrets, leaving an information void that others have tried to fill. Which he's trying to fill, but sure. True death toll is a matter of intense debate, but experts have used open sources and intelligence estimates to try to calculate how many Ukrainian and Russian troops died throughout the war. Yes, we do know that most of them have been the Russians. So somewhere between 160,000 to 230,000 Russian soldiers. Ukrainian armed forces daily estimates of Russia's troop losses does not separate deaths from those who are wounded. Combined casualties totaled through 950,000 as of April 30th, so almost 1 million for the Russians. Ukraine has avoided publishing its own troop loss figures for most of the war. Zelensky said on February 16th that over 46,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died since February 2022. Wall Street Journal in September, and by the New York Times in August, named Ukrainian troop deaths of 80,000 and 70,000 respectively. Kiev pushed back on these estimates. Losses fluctuate, but the average death tolls is far lower. Because he's saying it's deaths, right? I don't, like, people are obviously dying in the war. 5,000 a week? I don't think so. Across more than 3,000 years of, 3,000, Jesus. 3 years of war, the average number of soldiers killed weekly, even when looking at the highest end of public estimates for both Russia and Ukraine, come far below what Trump cites at less than 2,000 a week. Well, casualties rose during the costly Battle of Bakhmut. Yeah, there was a lot of casualties there. Around 7,000 troops died, and another 8,000 were injured near Pokrovsk alone in January. Got more than this. According to Sierdinsky, fighting is concentrated there with a crucial logistics hub for the Ukrainian front line. Even when factoring in the higher losses of late, the average combined death toll for Ukraine and Russia each week falls short of Trump's comments. So he's just saying it's 5,000 because it's a big fancy number. It's 5,000. That's why. Okay, cool.
Little cities and towns throughout Ukraine. And I'd like to see that stop.
And I asked Caroline this yesterday, but I want to ask you directly. So many of the things that you're trying to do are held up in court right now. If the courts are going to have so much influence over U.S. policy, do you wish you would have just become a judge instead?
Yeah, well, look, it wasn't meant to be that way. If you look at the founders, the president had certain powers, and you have your three groups, and they all had supposed to be pretty equal powers.
Yeah, and you keep fucking violating them all the time, which is why there's fucking problems right now. Which is why you keep getting stopped by the courts. You're trying to be a fucking king, but last time I checked, the U.S. wasn't a fucking monarchy with the executive as the king. But do you think any of these motherfuckers care about that? No.
You can't have a judge in Boston running foreign policy in places all over the country because he's got a liberal bent or he's a radical left person. That's what the executive branch is for. And you have checks and balances. But we had millions of people pour into our country, many, many criminals poured into our country, murderers, mental institutions from all over the world being emptied out into our country. And if we don't get them out and get them out quickly, we're could lose your country very easily. This is a bad, that anybody would allow this to happen.
Again, like the TPS stuff, he's just lying. It's just a lie. Just a lie.
Into our country. With all of the things, we took over inflation, we took over some wars, we took over a lot of problems that didn't exist when I was president. None of it existed. We wiped out ISIS. Other than that, we had no wars. Putin was never going to hit Ukraine. Israel would have never been attacked. That attack. Again,
you are the one who fucking put up the Abrahamic Accords. You are the one who fucking negotiated that shit. You are a liar. It's just a fucking lie. Because the Abrahamic Accords, I've explained this fucking constantly. That was the main thing that pushed Hamas back into a fucking corner. Shocker, I know. Crazy. That, hey, guess what fucking happened? It pushed them back into a corner, and they were lashed out as a result. That's how it fucking works. Because they had no other options politically. That's how politics works, Trump. But, does he fucking get that? No. Because he decided to, at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu, not include the Palestinians in any of the negotiations with the Abrahamic Accords. Crazy. Thus leading to Hamas having to do something out of political fucking desperation. Which was, guess what? October 7th. That's the whole point. And what was the other fucking thing? Again, the Kerch Strait incident happened under your fucking goddamn presidency. The separatist war. Because the war actually started, in 2014 between the Ukrainians and the fucking Russians. But, does Trump have any understanding of that? No, of course not.
As you know, Iran had no money. They didn't have money for Hamas. They didn't have money for Hezbollah. They had no money whatsoever. That wasn't going to happen. All of these things that happened.
Yeah, because this claim is basically what? It's like $250 billion. That was Iran's money, rightfully, and as part of a fucking deal, the U.S. agreed to give back the money that, guess what, some of the sanctions took away from the Iranians because of their attempted continued compliance with the fucking nuclear deal, of which you ripped up. It's nonsense. It's just silly.
Weren't going to happen. You wouldn't have had inflation. So it's very sad when I came back, but the thing that is the hardest is that they allowed 21 million people into our country, and many of those people.
He literally said that they didn't allow 21 fucking million people. And now he's saying that they did allow 21 million people. Again, where the fuck is it? Here we go. No. The 21 million people are the non-citizen immigrants living in the U.S. that are eligible or are receiving temporary protected status. These are the numbers since the fucking 90s. But he's still gonna fucking lie about it anyways. So whatever.
Are stone cold criminals. They moved their criminal population into the United States, and of all the things that,
of course, there's no evidence
are
of
bad.
that.
I solved inflation, I believe, already. I got the fuel prices down. The fuel prices came down. It's one of the reasons
the fuel prices came down because of your idiotic belligerence with the fucking tariffs, not because of anything that you did in particular. It's a lie. It's just a lie. It's just a lie. It's just a lie.
Screwed up the energy. They screwed up the cost of gasoline and oil and gas. And
no, you fucking were the one who screwed it up because you tried to fucking bully OPEC into lowering oil prices and gasoline prices because you wanted to get a fucking political win. That's why they started going up to begin with. Do you understand? He just has it's just compulsive lying, and he just doesn't fucking believe anything. Like, that's why it's constantly so fucking frustrating having to fucking listen to all this fucking stupid bullshit, because it's just nothing but constant, consistent lying.
You had tremendous inflation, the greatest inflation probably in the history of our country under Biden. And when people said, oh, but the economy was, no, the economy was terrible for the people because they couldn't afford the energy, and the energy brought everything else up. Energy is the big deal.
That's not the reasoning why the economy was not good. The economy was not good, not because of the inflation, although that fucking played a part. The reason why the economy was considered to be bad was because of the fact that a lot of corporate price gouging was happening as a result of the global inflation that was happening as a result of, COVID, which you initially mismanaged like complete fucking shit. And as a result, inflation started happening because of COVID. That you basically didn't really do anything about until you were forced to do something about it. Stupid.
But with all of that, we solved that already. In 4 months, we solved it. $1.99, $1.98 gasoline. First time people have seen that in a long time since my term. But the hardest thing to solve is millions of people pouring.
Also the $1.99 fucking gasoline stuff. It's just it's not accurate. It's just not true. We've looked into this before. It depends on the fucking region. It depends in the fucking area. And it's just not $1.98. Because he's trying to say it's $1.98 across the whole country. It's just not true. Like, literally, every fucking American that is in my chat has said, like, actually the gas prices have gone up. So, just a lie. Just a lie.
Into our country, many of whom are criminals. Because remember, these countries are smart. Their leaders are very street smart. They're sending the people that they don't want. They don't want the people that are there, that are law-abiding, that are productive, that are working hard. They want people that are...
Yeah, you want to know why, Trump? Because why would they fucking leave the fucking goddamn country if they're law-abiding citizens and are able to earn a living for their fucking, like, in their fucking country? The only time when people generally tend to immigrate out from a fucking country is when, there's problems with it. Like you have caused with your fucking Venezuelan coup attempt. Again, I've mentioned this before. Why are there a lot of fucking Venezuelans right here in particular? Because of this. Venezuelan coup attempt in 2019. This happened under your fucking watch, buddy. You fucking did this. And as a fucking result, crazy, you slapped a bunch of crippling sanctions on Venezuela, which, caused a bunch of fucking migration to happen from the country because the country went into fucking hyperinflation. You are the reasoning why this fucking happened. But, just lie. Just lie. Lie.
They're in jails. We have them. They allow them to come in. And I always look to the other side, like, why would somebody do something? In business, I try and study, why would they want to do this? Why would they want to sell it? Why would they want to buy it? One thing I can't figure out is, what would an administration, what were they thinking when they allowed millions of people from prisons all over the world, not just from South America, Venezuela, all over the world, from the Congo in Africa, hundreds of people, thousands of people from the Congo, rough prisoners, from Asia, from Europe, rough parts of Europe. Why would they allow them to come into our country? Why would they do that? It's the one thing I can't figure out. And
he's just lying, dude. It's because of a lot of your fucking policies. Most of them have come from South America and Central America, dude. Because of, again, your fucking policies, dude. Your stupid, dumbass fucking policies that caused the fucking collapse of these governments' economies. But, just Just say fucking stupid nonsense. Doesn't fucking matter. Whatever.
I don't believe it was Joe Biden. I really don't. I mean, look, he's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime. Not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people, Biden. And so I really don't feel sorry for him. But he wasn't a person that would allow murderers to come into our country. He wasn't a person that was in favor of transgender for anybody that wanted it, take kids out of families, et cetera, et cetera. So I just don't understand why a thing like this, how a thing like this could have been allowed to happen. Very sad. It's very sad for our country.
I'm just gonna say complete fucking nonsense.
The fundamental moral flaw of the left is empathy for the criminals and not empathy for the victims. Empathy for the criminals, but not empathy for the victims.
Don't fucking try to philosophize, you fucking moron. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean, no empathy for the fucking victims? What the fuck are you talking about? The left, broadly speaking, talks all the time about the problems with fucking crime, how it's a fucking economic issue. And motherfuckers like yourself are the reason why it gets exacerbated and worse. But, you know, does Elon have any fucking understanding of that? No, because he's just a fucking moron.
And there's been way too much of that. That needs to stop. To the president's point, there's been immense judicial overreach that is unconstitutional. That was never intended. And it's undermining the people's faith in the legal system.
No, you're just fucking mad about the fact that they're going after your fucking belligerent bullshit. That's the reason why you guys are having a fucking problem with, like, all the stuff that the courts are doing. No. What you guys are doing is fucking illegal. Like, get bent, stay mad, cope, seethe, maul, dilate.
It needs to stop. It's gone too far.
Mr. Musk,
Just today, we had, just a couple of hours ago, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court, thank goodness, that was very important. We had two important decisions yesterday on the tariffs because, again, we have to be able to fight a fair fight with other.
Again, he's not being accurate when he's talking about the tariffs here. The tariffs, quite literally, it got paused by the fucking Federal Appeals Court, the decision from the International Trade Court. It got paused so they can further assess the merits of the fucking case. That's why.
Countries, Howard, we just say we have to be able to use tariffs to fight people that use tariffs on us. I mean, if we didn't have that power of tariffs, we would economically be destroyed as a country because they will destroy us. Other countries will destroy us with unchecked tariffs. We can check them when we have the use. They tried to take that power away from us, and if you take that power away, we're not going to have a country. We won't have an economically viable country. But it's very important on immigration that we be able to get people out without having to go through a long court case. I mean, it was up to some of these judges. Every single one of these millions of people, criminals, prisoners that were let go from jails because they save a fortune when they did. They brought them into the United States. You know what they're saving?
Yeah, he's just lying about this. Again, you're not upholding your constitutional duty as the president to be a steward of the tenets of the fucking Constitution. It's literally your fucking job. You keep violating not only the fucking Fifth Amendment, but also the fucking Sixth Amendment. That's why these judges, what they're saying, what you're doing is fucking unconstitutional. You can just, I don't know, cope, seethe, dilate, get mad about it.
The money they're saving. But some of murders, it's very important that we're able to get those people out of here fast, bring them back to their country where they belong. And those countries take them, because if they don't take them, they have to go through the wrath of the United States, and they take them. But we have judges that don't want that to happen. And it would be,
what
it's
you're
a terrible
doing
thing.
is illegal.
That's going through the
Process
court
is
system
illegal.
right now, that whole situation. But when ICE and with Border Patrol, they've done an incredible job. When they do this incredible job, and they capture 100 killers and drug dealers, and we can't.
Yeah, that's just a fault. Like, that's just lies. Like, most of the people that ICE fucking captures are not. They're just not that. They're just not. They're not killers. Like, what? You caught a fucking gay barber? Cool. Yeah, that guy was a criminal. Like, what? Like, a 4-year-old with cancer? A 2 and a 7-year-old? Yeah, dude, totally. All because their fucking mom was a Honduran immigrant. Nonsense. Complete fucking nonsense. Like, he's deporting American fucking citizens now. He's just lying. It's just a lie. TBH, if I was president, I would break the rules and probably disappear the Supreme Court. I mean, he's probably going to do that eventually if the Supreme Court keeps ruling against him. Let's be honest, AJ.
Can't keep them for years here as we go through trials. We have to get them out rapidly, and we know who they are. We know who they are. And
yeah, mostly American fucking citizens and permanent fucking residents who have as much right to be there as your fucking goofy supporters' asses. Get the fuck out of here, dude. What you're doing is illegal. It's illegal.
We're very careful about who they are, but we have to get them out rapidly, or again, we're not going to have a country. Okay? Maybe one or two more. Go ahead.
Concerned that tariff may also affect companies like Tesla, which have parts manufactured abroad. And this is also to you, Mr. Musk.
Well, he's going to end up building his whole car here. I mean, I thought he built his whole car. Pretty much he does. He's got incredible factories, and like I looked at one in Texas. It's unbelievable. No way. All of the manufacturers will build their parts here too. I mean, it used to bother me. They make a part in Canada.
Again, Trump still doesn't fucking understand how this shit works. Again, you have to fucking import raw materials as well. Where are you gonna get the raw materials? What? Does the U.S. have vast fucking lithium stores or some shit to make car batteries? Oh, they don't? Okay, so then guess what? You have to fucking import that from other countries. Silly.
A part in Mexico, a part in Europe, and sent all over the place, and nobody knew what the hell was happening. I think it's ridiculous. You build a car, make it in America, and I gave them a little leeway on that. Gave them some leeway. But over the next year, they've got to have the whole thing built in America. That's what we want. We want America to buy American-built cars. Thank you very much.
Again, we talked about this before. There's a reason why that's just fucking stupid and really dumb. It's just not gonna fucking work out like Trump thinks it is. Because, whoa, guess what? It's gonna be way more fucking expensive to produce the fucking cars, and it's gonna significantly grow, it's going to significantly blow up the fucking price of the products that are manufactured only in America. Because again, this isn't fucking Factorio, Trump, where you can just plop down the fucking machines for the factories instantaneously. It doesn't work. He doesn't know how any of this stuff works. He just doesn't, because he has like this fucking autistic fixation in his head that, well, what do you mean? Like, you have to put the people in front of the thing in order to be able to do the thing. I totally know what I'm talking about, guys. This is stupid. It's just dumb.
Much,
Well, as always, another fucking press conference where Trump was just a complete, utter fucking liar, and he just said total fucking nonsense the whole fucking time. Same with Elon Musk, and they have no idea what they're talking about, and they will never fucking reflect upon any of the illegal actions they keep committing, because again, they hate you, they hate you, they hate you. I don't know. Not really much else to say here besides Trump is a charlatan and a liar, and I don't know. He can go fuck himself.